for Atlanta, Michael Pruitt is questionable to return with a knee injury. And for the Saints, Isaac Yiadom has been ruled out with a concussion. No word yet on Alontae Taylor, who was removed from the game. Taysom Hill in at quarterback. He keeps it himself, and he's got some room. There goes Hill into Atlanta territory and out of bounds around the 40-yard line. A 27-yard run for Taysom Hill.
Well, we talked a little bit about the zone read, right, with Desmond Ridder down here. All they're going to do is the same thing and then pull it and come back right here. And what's interesting is that they pull the guard in front, too, to make it look even more so like it's going to go to the right side of the offensive line. Taysom Hill, with good patience, pulls that and comes back out. He's such a problem to have to defend against because he can do so much.
Well, there's so many things that he can do. You're right. You don't know if he's running a draw up the middle of the field, or if he's doing a misdirection, or if he's handing it off or throwing it.
Carr rolling right, buying some time, and was able to find Foster Moreau, his former teammate with the Raiders. Ebiketie on the tackle. You go back to Taysom Hill, though. In the last 3 games, he had a total of 8 touches. Here in this game today, he's got 9 touches. He's been a big part of the game plan.
Yeah, 9 touches. He's already over 70 yards. He's a big reason why it's hard to defend the Saints team, because you never know when he's on the field what he's going to be tasked with doing.
On 2nd and 7, a pitch to Miller, and the rookie exploding through the hole and picking up another first down. Jesse Bates on the tackle, but 11 more yards for Kendre Miller. NFL Today update, JB and Nate.
Jacksonville playing like the South title is at stake.
That's right. Over the middle, Ryan Tannehill is looking for his receiver, and Andre Cisco picks this off, giving the Jags a chance to possibly tie this game up. Tennessee still leads 28-20.
With plenty of time left, 11:25 in regulation. Back to Andrew Catalan.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Inside 13 minutes to play here in New Orleans. On 1st and 10, another run by Taysom Hill. A pickup of 5 for Hill, and another good-looking drive. NFL playoffs kick off next Saturday with Super Wild Card Weekend. And the road to Super Bowl 58 starts here. Stay tuned after the games today for the announcement of the full schedule. And our game on Sunday will kick off with the NFL Today, which Matt will be on here on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. 138 yards rushing for the Saints, and Jamal Williams adds to the total.
Well, it just feels like New Orleans has imposed their will on this drive, running the football right up the middle, saying we're going to smash this right up the gut, whether it's with Taysom Hill at the quarterback position or turning around and handing that off to Jamal Williams. And this is what Jamal Williams talked about. He wanted multiple carries. He wanted to get into the flow. He wanted to wear on a defense. He's certainly done that, but it all started because of Derek Carr's ability to place the football versus man-to-man coverage in the perfect spot backed up.
5 runs for 53 yards on this drive, and back to the ground with Miller thrown down at the 10 by Laquel London. Saw a shot.
Yeah, excuse me. I was going to say the other thing it does, running the football like this and putting together a long drive, is you're shortening this game now, right? You're already at a 2-score football game. You've got 11:15 left in this ball game, and it's now about, number 1, scoring points, but number 2, making this 11 minutes as short as possible.
Right.
And they're doing a good job using all of the clock here. You're not really in 4-minute offense or anything like that when you're trying to bleed the clock. But a good veteran quarterback will make sure they know the tempo of the game and bleed this clock down to 6, as we see it at 5 seconds right now.
Williams up the middle. And Jamal Williams to the 6-yard line.
Yeah, they're just grinding ahead. You know, another 5 or so yards there. It's 150+ yards on the ground today for the New Orleans Saints, which is the formula that we expected to see from the Atlanta Falcons. But they haven't been able to get things going and staying on the field. And as a result, their game plan has been hijacked by the New Orleans Saints. That's how they're winning this game right now.
Carr and Hill on the field at the same time. 3rd down and 3. Third down and 3. Play clock at 1. Barely got it off. Carr buying time, now just throws it away. Bud Dupree was applying the pressure, and now on 4th down, Dennis Allen will send out his field goal team.
See if somebody comes open. He just hangs around. You know, just throws it away. You know, we'll take 3.
Yeah, a good decision.
No need to be stupid.
Just ditch it, right, and put it out of the back of the end zone. And you're hoping, you know, you get something on that run action. You get a rub. They had some crossing routes going in the back. You get somebody picked and somebody screams open. But it's a safe football call, right? It's a safe play call, knowing, you know, where you're at in this ball game.
24-yard attempt for Groupie, and his kick is good. So the Saints.
The Home Depot. How doers get more done. And by Cologuard.
You can follow the road to Las Vegas and catch every round of the NFL playoffs on CBS right through Super Bowl 58. All streaming live on Paramount Plus.
You know, down 17 points here, Matt. The Atlanta Falcons, they're not really built as a team that can come back from large deficits, especially in the quarterback play, and you just don't see them make a ton of big plays. We saw them today, but not generally speaking.
Yeah, they're not built to go through the passing game, the drop back passing game. It's not who they want to be, but they're where they are. And so you've got to come out here if you're Desmond Ridder and have the mindset that you got to start being aggressive. And I know he had the interception he had to miss, and those were big plays in terms of changing the momentum of this football game. As a quarterback, you got to play the situation for what it is, right? I mean, you're in a 3-score game with 9:57. At some point, you got to start taking some chances, right? And you got to push the ball down the football field. And you got to try and be selective when you get it. And you got to trust your guys. They've got big targets on the outside, and Kyle Pitts and Drake London. You got to give them some opportunities down the football field.
Kyle Pitts has 1 target today. 19-yard reception. Ridder to Pitts. How about that? 8-yard gain for number 8.
Speaking into existence.
Yeah, speaking into existence. They're going to go with tempo, too, which is one of the things I thought they did well, you know, in the first half was, you know, using some tempo. They used it before the half. Maybe it gets Ridder into a bit of a rhythm here and simplifies what they're doing on the defensive side. But you gotta handle this with a lot of urgency.
Bijan Robinson on the carry. Nice move by Robinson. There he goes again with a flag down behind the play. Robinson is spun down at the 44, but Dennis Allen says this one is coming back.
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on the Pro Bowler Chris Lindstrom. 2nd time he's been called for holding this year. It wipes out a 24-yard gain.
Yeah, he was on the backside of this. You're going to see right here, and he's going for that backside. He goes for the cut, and then you see him just hang on to Demario Davis's leg there.
It was important that he hang on because that,
otherwise it's blown up.
Right, he stops the angle that Demario Davis was on. He would have blown up the play there, but sometimes you just hope you get away with it. They didn't see that.
So the penalty makes it 2nd down and 12, and a bad snap. Ridder trying to chase it down. He doesn't have it. The Saints recover. It's Peyton Turner, who was just activated off IR on Friday, recovering the loose football.
It looks like Desmond Ridder is not quite ready for this snap. Almost like he's looking past or looking at something else as this ball gets snapped.
Yeah, you saw them communicating there too. His eyes, I mean, his eyes were up and to the left, and certainly not expecting that ball to be snapped at that time. We talked about it in the open. Ryan Newsel playing in that position. It had not been an issue the entire day, but his eyes right there, clearly not on the football, not expecting that ball to come back. And that really is the nail in the coffin right there for the Atlanta Falcons.
Peyton Turner playing in just his second game of the season. He suffered a toe injury back in week 1. Has been out since then. He recovers the football, and now first and goal for the Saints. Carr throws to the end zone, incomplete, but a flag. Clark Phillips had the coverage on A.T. Perry.
Pass interference. Defense number 34. The foul occurred in the end zone. Ball we place at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, Clark Phillips is down here on A.T. Perry again, and he just gets overwhelmed. He gets pushed off, so he holds onto his arm. It's kind of offensive pass interference.
Yeah,
I see it, but
you see this all the time in the NFL. These guys running these corner stops, right? I'm going to take this to the back pylon, sit your foot down, and try and come back to the football. And it becomes hard on those defenders because there's so much momentum.
First and goal, Jamal Williams, and somebody jumped up front.
Full start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's on the right tackle, Cameron Irving, who's starting today for the injured Landon Young, who had been starting for the injured Ryan Ramczyk. So it's been a revolving door at right tackle for Dennis Allen's team.
Their offensive line has played a good ball game, though. They've run the football extremely effectively. Their pass protection has been excellent, providing time for Derek Carr to throw the football and be efficient down the field. With all the moving parts, they've done a nice job up front.
First and goal. Wide open touchdown, A.T. Perry. That's his second touchdown of the game. And Derek Carr now has 4 touchdowns on the afternoon.
Well, this is a good job.
Desmond Ridder back out there as Patterson takes the handoff, and Cordero is tackled at the 28-yard line. Oh, we met with Taysom Hill about the playoff chances for the Saints, and he was very candid with us. He said, look, it's disappointing that we're in a position where we need help to get in, but we have veteran leadership. It's been a good week of practice, and I know we're going to come out and play hard. He had a good feeling they would take care of their own business today. It's just now will they get the help they need to get in.
It's never the position you want to be in where you require help to get into the playoffs, but you control what you control as a player. And New Orleans has certainly done that as a football team today.
Ridder throws incomplete. Alante Taylor in the vicinity. Good to see him back in the ball game after he was removed earlier in the half. As they've done throughout, the Falcons do not huddle as they face 3rd down and 6. Ridder to London, and he could not hold on and took a big hit from Tyrann Mathieu. And London a little wobbly as he gets up. It's 4th and 6, and Arthur Smith is going to punt.
watch Tyrann Mathieu on this play. He goes down low to make the stop. It looked like it was a dirty hit on Drake London, but it wasn't dirty at all. Shoulder to shoulder. And as much as we talk about the wide receiver protecting themselves, the DBs also got to protect themselves at times.
I mean, in today's NFL, that's textbook targeting, right? That's exactly how you have to do it.
Shaheed from the 11. And Shaheed is tackled at the 19. I don't know, should Arthur Smith have gone for it there? What do you have to lose at this point?
Field position, another easy field goal, maybe a touchdown.
Might be it, but yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, he might have made the decision that they have no chance to win this, but let's look at what Taysom Hill has done for the Saints today. We were talking about him earlier, catching the ball in the flat. And then really, this is the story of the day. Him running the football up the center of the Atlanta Falcons defense with physicality, reading this, cutting this back to the left side. He is so dynamic as a player. We talked about him really being the only kind of guy that does it like this in the league, but it's such a weapon for New Orleans because it's so difficult for teams to be able to prepare for this Saints offense.
Miller on the carry, and Lakel London, not Drake, makes the tackle. And Saints will just try to use some clock here. And again, the possibility that they'll be playing next week on the road as the wild card and the number 7 seed in the NFC if they get the help they need later today.
Yeah, you got to give the Saints credit. They did all that they could down the stretch. Save for the one loss to the Los Angeles Rams, they've won in December and put yourself in position to get into the postseason. And a lot of it is because of Derek Carr. We talked a lot about his early, I don't call it failures, but there's some struggles. The fans were frustrated by it. We saw some screaming and yelling with some of the young players on offense, but it settled itself. And he's turned into the player that they thought when they gave him $150 million guaranteed.
Well, it takes time. If you come in as a player, right, and some positions are easier than others to plug and play. Quarterback isn't one of those positions. It takes time to get a feel for the play calling, for what Pete Carmichael is asking you to do, for your receivers. You've got a whole new group of guys, your tight end group, your protection. The protection was not great in the first half of the season. The key to his success, really, in my opinion, has been he's gotten better protection as they've gotten later into the season, and his health is where it needs to be, because he's been a guy, frankly, for 10 years, has delivered the football. He knows how to pass the football. There's no question about it. You look at where he ranks in his first 10-year stats. I mean, he's right up there at the very top. This guy can pass the football, and I think you're seeing that come to fruition now because of better pass protection and his health and continuity with the guys around him.
You saw Andrews Pete, the left tackle, walk off. You mentioned Carr in his first 10 seasons. He's one of only 3 players all time to throw for 3,000 yards in each of his first 10 years, alongside Peyton Manning and Russell Wilson. Carr to Lynn Bowden. Flag is down, and Bowden is gang tackled at the 23. It's gone silent here at the Superdome. They had not been putting up the score of the Buccaneers game in this building, but you got to think with everyone on their phones, they've figured out what has happened.
Pass interference. Offense number 83. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Penalty on Jawan Johnson, but it's 4th down, and the Saints will punt.
Yeah, we asked Dennis Allen, and he said he hadn't thought about it. I think your guys are going to be scoreboard watching. He's like, if it was up to me, I would not have them put it up. And they really haven't. So it's one of those things where just take care of business. And that's what the Saints, to their credit, have done today.
It just means these Saints fans are going to have to party a little longer this afternoon. Keep it rolling down here in New Orleans.
I got a feeling they're prepared to do that. 4th down and 10. Alford, the deep man. Saints try to get the Falcons to move, and a flag comes out.
This might be defensive encroachment. You see line judge Carl Johnson trying to say
false start.
Oh, it is false start.
Offense. The whole right side of the line moved abruptly. 4th down.
They didn't just move, they moved abruptly, says John Hussey.
John Hussey with an excellent call. Be a meme somewhere soon.
So Lou Headley will go back again with Alford awaiting the punt at the 34-yard line. Takes this one away. Alford drifting over to his right. Fields it at the 31. Stayed on his feet. And now tackled at the 36. Back in the broadcast booth with Matt Ryan and Tiki Barber. I'm Andrew Catalan. And it's been an awesome year for our crew. We've had so much fun. And Matt, great job in your first year in the booth. I know calling the Saints-Falcons game must be a little strange, but we've been so happy to have you all year long.
Hey, listen, it's a cool way to cap it off. You guys were the absolute best, holding my hand through the early stages. We didn't get our boy Steve McKee fired there in the booth.
Right, our producer.
You're welcome, Steve and Andy, but big thank you to you guys. Big thank you to the entire crew. I've thoroughly enjoyed, doing it with you this year. You guys are the absolute best.
And by the way, we don't sit that close to each other the whole game.
Logan Woodside has come in at quarterback, and he just gets sacked. Well, it was funny. Dennis Allen walked into our production meeting on Friday and said, Who's the genius at CBS that assigned Matt Ryan to call the Saints-Falcons game?
I think it actually is genius. You know more about it than anybody. The rivalry, that is, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one that I played in for a long time. But it's different, and it hits different. But you got to give New Orleans credit, putting all that aside, right? You've got to put the emotions aside when you're playing games like these.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So Arthur Smith is giving Logan Woodside an opportunity to play the final 6 minutes here. Woodside has only appeared in 12 games in his career prior to this one, and he's 1 of 3 for 7 yards. Taylor Heineke inactive today with an ankle injury, and he was made the 3rd quarterback, so Woodside is the backup and hands off to Rashawn Robinson. Woodside played collegiately at Toledo, a native of Frankfort, Kentucky.
I think one of the things that brought Logan Woodside in was his familiarity with Arthur Smith and his time spent in Tennessee to be able to help in that quarterback room with Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder, to be able to pass on some of the things that he learned during his time spent with him. And I know from a man, all of the guys in that locker room really have a lot of respect for how Logan prepares and what he's done all year.
Tyler Algier on the carry. Atlanta had 169 yards in the first quarter, which is 178 since.
They came out the right way.
They sure did.
There was no doubt about it. But we showed it coming out of halftime. A lot of their production came from miscues on the side of New Orleans, and credit to Atlanta for taking advantage of that. But New Orleans defense has really settled in this second half and played good disciplined football.
Shaheen back deep to receive the punt from Pinion. Shaheen from the 23. Shaheen is tackled at the 30-yard line. 4:33 to go. Stay tuned for the NFL Today update delivered by Little Caesars, time permitting. J.J. Watt with J.B., Nate, and Coach Cower. They'll have all the scores and highlights coming up. Well, Dennis Allen's going to have Derek Carr go back out there with 4:33 to go.
Yeah,
I imagine it'll be.
It's going to be handoffs. Yeah. There's no question about that. But it is the interesting point, right? You don't know what next week is going to look like right here, and so you got to protect your guys, right?
Yeah, you do.
Most important thing is trying to come out of this healthy with an opportunity if things go the right way.
I suspect that Derek Carr wants to be out here, though. I think he knows that his job's not finished yet, and he wants to position this team to do whatever it takes to get to the next stage, and it's finishing out a game, even if it's just handing the football off, which he'll likely do for the rest of this one. But you talk about Dennis Allen. Look, his defense has done some good things over the years. He's been here forever.
Yeah.
But as a head coach, he has not had a winning season. Yep. This will be his first winning season in his tenure. And you give him a ton of credit because it felt like it was getting away from him early on in the year.
And I think if you look at his tenure as a head coach, I mean, they've been top 10 defenses, right? Mm-hmm. And so as a defensive head coach on his side of the ball, the production has been pretty good. I think you look at the first winning team, and since Drew Brees, they finally got that quarterback position right. I know there's been frustration here with Derek Carr at different times throughout the year from the fan base, but you can't argue with how well he played down the stretch of the season.
And Bowden fumbles, and the Falcons say they have it. Nate Landman forced the fumble, but the officials say the Saints have recovered.
Yeah, this is a great punch by Nate Landman. Watch him just swing and bam, punch that thing right out. He nailed it right on the ball. The only way to protect that from happening is to have it high and tight with the X. The X will protect you, as I like to tell people.
Yeah, that's good effort from Juwan Johnson going in there and getting on the football, making sure the stat line stays clean for this New Orleans Saints football team.
3rd down and 11. With 3 minutes to go, Carr is passing. Pressure's coming, and Carr is sacked by Richie Grant. His 3rd sack of the year.
Listen, I don't think there's much to be critical of this New Orleans coaching staff all day. I think my only thing would be, why expose him to a hit in this situation? This ball game is over, right? And so you know, Derek Carr does a good job of protecting the football, but you never know when you get swung to the ground, right? Your head is exposed, those kind of things. If I'm going to be critical of anything New Orleans, you know, coaching staff today, that would be it. Get him out of the game.
If the Saints get in as the 7th seed in the wild card, they would go to the NFC East winner in all likelihood, which with a win would be the Dallas Cowboys. D. Alford back deep. Alford across the 40, out of bounds right there. Just one more note on Dennis Allen. He has seen this rivalry from a unique perspective in that his late father, Grady, played linebacker for the Falcons from 1968 to 1972. Dennis actually was born in Atlanta before moving to Hurst, Texas at the age of 5. So he said initially he was a Falcons fan, but then when he moved to Texas, he became a Cowboys fan. But he's very proud of his dad. He told us on Friday that his dad was his hero, and he was so proud that his dad was able to see Dennis become a head coach before his father, Grady, passed away. Allen also began his Woodside, and he's going to keep it himself and runs out of bounds. Stay tuned for the NFL Today update delivered by Little Caesars. That's time permitting. Scores and highlights with our crew back in New York. And interesting week ahead in the NFL, especially with some coaching decisions. And Arthur Smith is one of the guys that people have been talking about. There's Falcons owner Arthur Blank, who said back in December he would wait until the end of the year before talking about the future for Arthur Smith. And you know, when you look at Smith's resume, it'll be his 3rd straight 7-10 season, and one of the things that hurts him is that the Falcons offense has not been very productive. Although you look at the quarterback situation, it was on display again today. There haven't been a lot of great play out of that position here either.
No, it's been inconsistent. They went back and forth, right? They benched Ritter a couple of times. They went with Heineke. They just couldn't seem to get that right, as we see another interception, this time by Logan Woodside.
Tyrann Mathieu might go all the way. And he does not. Down at the 1.
Let's hope he's not hurt. This team gets ready, hopefully, to find their way to the postseason. But Tyrann Mathieu, he was looking around like, who's going to tough tackle me?
A 74-yard return for Mathieu, a yard shy of his 5th pick 6.
Well, he's just looking at Logan Woodside's eyes right here, and they never leave, you know, that in cut right there, and that's too easy. The ball security is not Tiki Barber approved right here.
Not at all.
Not high and tight.
Nor is getting hogged down by Chris Lindstrom.
Chris Lindstrom's effort, you got to give him credit.
No
Knowing
doubt.
this ball game's over, the year he had a Pro Bowler, it's great effort, but you know, a fitting way for the Falcons quarterback play to finish, you know, for this season, as we were kind of talking about that before. And it was a disappointing year, I think, you know, from Falcons, you know, fans' perspectives. I think there were higher expectations coming into this season. I think there were higher expectations for the staff of what they expected to get done, and I think Arthur Blank had higher expectations. So, you know, there's a lot of factors that cause you to not be successful, and as we watch this touchdown.
Oh man, that's
Williams with his first touchdown of the season, and that's the rivalry, right? It looked like a knee, and the Saints score a touchdown with 1:10 to go.
That is amazing. Dennis Allen gives no cares at all.
Wow.
I'm sure that
it'll be like baseball retaliation
this
at some point, right? You know, next year that'll carry over.
It took long enough for Jamal Williams.
I was here to say the same thing. 17 touchdowns a year ago with the Detroit Lions. He comes here, doesn't get a ton of carries, but his last carry of the game, really maybe the last carry of the season, to get into a victory formation.
Yeah.
You could kind of tell because he was deeper than the fullback, and so you could tell that this victory formation, you see how he's a little bit deeper than the fullback. It makes sense that they were doing something tricky there.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
That is insult to injury.
They're going to keep partying here in New Orleans. 48-17 is the score. And they're going to hope they get lucky this afternoon. They need losses from both the Seahawks and the Packers. We asked Tyrann Mathieu about this rivalry. He obviously has a good feel for it growing up in New Orleans, and he said, it feels like we're not just playing the Falcons every year, it's like we're playing the entire state of Georgia. And Mathieu said that his family, like their vacation every year was to Atlanta to go to the Falcons-Saints game, which gives you an idea of what this rivalry is like. And I think we're seeing it on display again here late in the fourth quarter.
Well, we had a shot there of Calais Campbell on the sideline, and you know, if in fact it is his last game, I want to congratulate him. He was a guy that I competed against going all the way back to college at Miami, and he's an unbelievable. Yeah, he was a story. He was a year younger than me, and we were going out for a coin toss in the last game of the regular season. At the coin toss, he's like, "Yo, Matt."
Yo, Mixon touchdowns. One on the ground.
He's like, "Come out this year." I was thrown off, man. I'm not going to lie to you. He was like, "You know, my draft grade's pretty good. Should I come out?" I was thrown off there for a bit, but he's been an incredible player for a long time, but he's also a better person. And what he's done in the community, you see this Walter Payton Man of the Year patch on his chest. He's proud of what he's done, but he didn't do it for any of that, right? He did it for the right reasons. And if he continues to play, he's still playing at a high level. But if he doesn't, it was one heck of a run. Yeah, he's on that borderline of conversation in the Hall of Fame, 100+ sacks. And you get to that level, there's only a few others that have accomplished some of those things that he's done. But you're right, he is a great guy. You can tell when we met with him that he's really thinking about it. It's not one of those, I'm going to throw it up in the air and then speculate. He's really thinking about it. He gave us all hugs when he left. Felt small, right? I mean, of course, he's a massive human being, but you also saw him at the beginning of the game, or before the game, I should say, during warm-ups, he was taking a long knee and just kind of taking it all in. Potentially his last time visiting the Superdome down here.
He said at least one time every game, an opponent comes up to him and points to that patch, the Walter Payton Man of the Year patch, and says, I want to win that one day too. And that's pretty cool that you have that. And that's the final play of the game, and maybe the final game of Calais Campbell's career. Oh, and Arthur Smith's hot. That Dennis Allen scored a touchdown at the end. He is hot. He said, what are you doing? And he's going at Dennis Allen. I understand that. You can read his lips, and you know. And I think he's got a